really do like Amber Heard as Carla.
Ah,
I think she's
and
beautiful.
Johnny Depp is Peter?
No. Yeah, to show his two personalities, right?
You're watching the Spotlight Network.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a tangled tale of love, betrayal, and redemption with a terrific author, one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite guests. Her name is L.L. McCall, and she has penned a book you are going to love. It is a gripping novel called AMISS 2. This emotionally charged sequel follows Paul and Carla as they struggle to rebuild their relationship after trauma, betrayal, and the lingering shadow of Paul's twin brother, Peter. With unexpected twists, past secrets, and future uncertainty, AMISS 2 is a powerful story of resilience and second chances that fans of contemporary romance and drama won't want to miss. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us once again here today on Spotlight. We ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below the interview. Linda, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you for having me. That was a great introduction. I
Well,
loved it.
it's well deserved. The books are great,
Oh,
very,
thank you.
very riveting, very, very real,
Mhm,
and a great escape. I
mhm,
feel they're a great escape as well. Let's start with AMISS to give a brief overview before we
mhm.
get to AMISS 2, because this is part of a trilogy, and we're going to be able to talk about AMISS, AMISS 2, and AMISS 3 today. Let's talk about AMISS. Let's set up the story for the folks at home.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll even show the books, I guess, as I'm talking about each one.
Sure.
This is the first one,
Yep.
and this is, how they all met when they were younger. Um, the young woman who is, pretty much the main character, Carla, they met while she was in high school, and she met the two twin brothers along her, you know, in town, and it took on a story of its own. They fell in love, and then the brother didn't like too much of what was happening. He felt left out, and he was doing his own thing in the music world, but it wasn't panning out, and he enjoyed seeing his brother's life take off and be very successful. So he did try to emulate him and just couldn't get it together, and he got kind of crazy, like so insanely jealous that he wanted his life. And that's what he ended up doing, trying to take over his life. And he did. And he took over, being the husband. And Carla wasn't aware because they're identical twins and they were the same pretty much in every way, which is kind of hard to believe. But there is there's a lot of things and turns and twists that I think that people can relate to.
Mhm.
And that's why I always call my books relatable, because they can understand and feel what I'm trying to express. And maybe they've gone through that themselves in, some time of their life. And I just try to make them a page turner,
Yeah.
to keep going and to keep wanting more.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after I did the book two, which is this one,
Mhm. Yep.
on how they kind of got over what happened in the first book, because it really drove them apart. And then they didn't know who the other one was, as per Carla not knowing that Peter was acting as Paul, and Paul was somewhere off with amnesia. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of funny. It sounds like a soap opera now that I'm saying it, but I mean, these things do happen when people do get amnesia for whatever reason. Life happens, and things, take on their turns, and each one was being portrayed and going through what they were going through, and then to find out what happened to one another, and not happy about it, of course not, because he's finding out that she was with him, his brother rather. And it just took on like their lives and how they try to kind of find each other again because they still loved each other deep down. But, of course, feelings and emotions get involved and you have to deal. But after getting back together in AMISS 2, after all that drama, um, something else popped up and came back to haunt them from the past with Peter.
Yeah.
So, it's never a dull moment, let's put it that way. And going on with the next one, AMISS 3, I had to, oh my goodness, what is that? With AMISS 3, it continues with, here, I'll show that one. This just came out. This actually just came out like Monday.
Wonderful.
I got my copy.
Hot off the presses, as we like to say.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Yes, literally. But yeah, I mean, what is going on and what happened with in 2 that carries on into AMISS 3 is kind of mind-boggling because how did this happen? How did it get to that point? And then she's followed by her stalker that she met in the second book, and it's kind of crazy, but I try to keep it interesting. Like I said, I love a page turner, not put the book down, and that's what I try to create. Short and sweet. They're not 300 pages. They're about 100 pages each.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to write with a flow, so it's not full of fluff and everything, even though I do try to paint a picture. I just like to get to the point, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, the books are great. They do move along. And I think the whole intrigue about the identical twins is great. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've seen the 5th season of You yet, but they're identical twins in that. They're female, not male. So they didn't fully steal your idea, but they do switch back and forth. And it makes for some really cool, interesting plot twists, just like in your book.
And what is that called?
Well.
What was that?
You. It's on Netflix. YOU. Yep.
YOU. Okay, I'll have to.
So you'll have to watch that season 5. Speaking of Netflix, why not a series of films on Netflix for AMISS, AMISS 2 and AMISS 3? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I would love that to happen. I would love someone to say, hey, we'd like to do this with you, and that would be terrific, actually. Yeah. And the funny thing is, there has been some interest, and I went ahead with a screenwriter. Mm-hmm. I think I had mentioned it in the last interview. Mm-hmm. Joyce, she's phenomenal. I love her. She is not only such a great screenwriter, she is a really great person, and we did the screenplay together for AMISS 1. Mm-hmm. I did it, and then she kind of enhanced it for me. We worked together, many phone sessions, and we finished that. And then on AMISS 2, we also did a screenplay for that. So that's done. And now she's working with me on the both first one and second one, director's cuts, which are called Hollywood treatments. So, you do the camera angles, what kind of rooms they are, day and night. It's pretty much like this screenplay, but a little bit shorter. Right. But, you have to put, you probably know. Yeah. So, it's more of a detail type. And
that's great. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting stuff that you're working on that. Especially with AI nowadays, soon you'll be able to make your film without leaving your desktop. If I don't have seen some of the latest Google AI video, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I do have a trailer on 1 and 2, but I don't have 1 on 3. I'm working on that now.
Okay.
And we're going to have to work on a director's cut for number 3 now, because this is what I'm told they're requiring.
Yeah.
if they're going to move ahead with me,
Yeah.
as per my literary agent. So, to do a movie or a series, even 3-year series for each book,
Hmm.
or a movie just, to continue it,
Yeah.
because they could make definitely like a 2-3 hour movie out of it.
Oh, sure.
you know?
Sure. Absolutely. Or a series. I mean, it could be a multi-season series too,
Right,
because
right.
they tend to flush things out more in the series. So that'd be
Hmm.
great as well. So
Hmm.
that's wonderful. 3 books on this. The latest, part 3, is out now.
Hmm.
And what's it been like writing them? I know, tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind them and the writing process.
Well, in the beginning, I I think I had mentioned to you this dream I had. It started kind of with a dream, and
Mm,
it kind of took on a life of its own. And with that, as I sat and started writing, I put it aside, then went back to it, and put it aside, went back to it, and then life happens, and then I went
yeah.
back to it, and I just, I said, this is kind of getting interesting. I'm going to just keep going with it and not put it down again. So that's what I did, and I finished the first book.
Mm,
And then after the way it finished, even though they were back together and everything seemed okay, I started the second book because everything really was not okay because of
mm.
what happened in the middle of the first book,
Right.
them finding out what really happened and then having to go to counseling and, going through all of that. I feel like I'm giving everything away, but, you
I
know,
think it's in bits and pieces. I think they'd have to read the books to put everything
yeah.
into context. Yeah.
And yeah, and how it progressed and when, but I'm saying that, in doing that, I have like a way of writing, and once I start and it just keeps going. And when I get tired, I stop because then
Yeah.
I know I'm babbling like now.
Well, some people call it babbling, other people call it eloquence. When you have a lot of words, they just flow, and that's good. When you're a writer, you want the words to flow.
Right.
You got to resolve all those sandbox issues before you can
Sandbox.
evolve as a person in
Yeah.
this world. And Peter and Paul have quite a few issues to work out, no doubt.
Yes. Yes.
But it's very, very entertaining.
Mhm.
Quite a trio, Carla,
Mhm.
Paul, and Peter. Unforgettable characters. We've been talking about a series of books today, primarily focusing on AMISS 2,
Mhm.
but AMISS 3 is out, and of course, the
Mhm.
original
Mhm.
AMISS.
Yeah.
And soon, a forthcoming novel, AMISS 4. And
Maybe.
we're looking forward to all of them written by
Yes.
L.L. McCall. They are raw,
Yes.
emotional roller coasters of books that explore the complexities of love, loss,
Mhm.
and second chances. The artwork on those books are incredible as well. Linda, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
All right, thank you so much. And they are available, as you said, in the links below, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, even Target, Walmart, everywhere. And the Kindle is not out yet on 3, but it will be soon, within
Okay,
a
we'll
week.
look for it when it's out. And like pretty much anywhere you
Oh,
get your books, you can get these books. The links are below this interview. You can
mhm.
also Google LL McCall, a miss, boom,
And
and
then
it'll show
also,
up.
I'm sorry, there's also audiobooks out too now.
Wonderful. That's
Yeah,
great. Great.
yeah.
That must have been fun producing those.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
fun because that was a lot of very time consuming, checking and listening and checking and correcting,
Yeah.
editing, all of that. But 3 will be out soon also. So
Yeah. That's a lot of work to
I've
do
been
an
busy.
audiobook. I've been asked to do audiobooks, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
have a short attention span. I cannot read for hours and hours and hours,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm glad you found the right actors for it and the
Hmm.
right narrator.
Well, I hope
Linda,
they'll
thank you so
work out.
much for joining me here today.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
I
It was a
appreciate your
pleasure to
time as
see you
well.
again. Thank
Great
you.
seeing you. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Always fun. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.